Library board have a plan. What's the plan besides the 25% cut? Is there an idea to do something different? Is there like a counter proposal or a counter plan?
I did, with the library budget board committee, prepared a 7.7% budget cut that the library board approved at their meeting, and I submitted that information to the city manager.
Is it published anywhere? Can the public look at your 7.7% cut?
Yes, I gave that to the library board today as their finished document in their meeting, so I could provide that document. It's a memo.
My second question is, in the 7.7% cut, if I'm understanding it right, there would be no cuts in services or cuts in personnel or hours or newspapers. Is that correct?
There would be cuts, but not in those areas that you've mentioned. That would be a budget that I think that we could absorb like we've been doing the previous years, and it wouldn't have such a profound impact on the services we offer to the community.
My second question is, how would this 25% cut affect the technology at the library and technological plans for the future?
We wanted to upgrade our integrated library system. We postponed doing that because we weren't quite sure how the cuts would affect that. We have wanted to update computers in the library. We do receive support from the IT department, and all of our computers are provided by the IT department, but when they're not able to upgrade at the rate we would like to, we can use some of that state aid funding that we may or may not get. We could have used some of that to upgrade the computers. Did you ask what the full cut would do?
Yes.
Okay.
25% cut.
We're going to, it's going to eliminate our interlibrary loan service that we use with a consortium. And that's going to hinder our ability to fulfill interlibrary loan requests in a timely fashion. Right now, you use our catalog to request your interlibrary loan. We're also going to reduce how we catalog books, and so that information may not be available on a more worldwide network. And are there other things that I'm missing?
I don't think so.
I know some of it's kind of behind the scenes that people don't necessarily understand, but when you're using our library catalog, you're seeing a record, and we're getting that from a national consortium, and it's a Library of Congress record, and if you want to borrow a book from another library, you're clicking here, and if you want to go look at our website or go out somewhere else, and so that will be affected, and it may not necessarily look the same, and it may slow down some of the things that we're able to do.
Thanks.
Can I say a word about interlibrary loan? I don't think you'll have interlibrary loan really essentially at all. We won't be able to afford, our interlibrary loan system is reciprocal. We're able to borrow books because we lend books. We won't have money to lend books. We won't have a mechanism to lend books. It's 25% budget cut, first search, and SPLC, which is the electronic means that we use to do interlibrary loan, and our cataloging will go away. So you might, a librarian might be able to call in a librarian, and they might send it. You'll have to pay postage on something, and when they call and say, can we borrow whatever from your collection, we'll have to say, no, we're sorry, we didn't have postage. So it's I think not just diminished for interlibrary loan. I think pretty much.
Yes, sir, in the back.
May I speak?
Yes.
I would like to just bring a little bit of historical perspective into this. This is an urgent problem, an immediate problem. So let me tell you about another time. It was the worst of times. The city was in the depths of the Great Depression. The people were suffering through the longest drought in recorded history. The city's water supply was failing. Two significant events took place. In the midst of drought, the city, aided by FDR's Works Progress Administration, scooped out the earth to build a lake north of town. With a history of 7 years of drought and no prospect of any significant rain in sight, this was an act of faith. Given that setting, the second significant event, at first glance, seems beyond belief. Townspeople that year came together and voted by a 3-to-1 margin to build a new public library. This was no less an act of faith, but it was also a statement by the residents of the city about the importance of the public library in providing a core service that affected the life and the survival of the community. The year was 1937. The city was Stillwater. The people and the leaders of this community, in the midst of great difficulty, exhibited not only faith, but also a vision for the future, and something we don't hear about very much today, something called gumption. Fast forward 57 years, the city had outgrown the library facility that had served it so well during those years, and the residents once again showed that wonderful mix of faith, vision, and gumption, and voted to build and equip the fine library facility we have today. Once again, the citizens made a statement through their vote about the necessity of the core service their library provides the community. Today, we're at a crossroads. And friends, users of the library, I think what our city council needs to hear is that the library is not a peripheral service for the community. It's part of the core service that the city provides this community, provides you and your friends.
That's not the forum that we're going to have here. I don't know.
I'm asking about the amount of money that they are budgeted versus, you don't know?
I don't know.
What I heard last night at the city council meeting is that it breaks even, that it's going to break even with the budget they have. So it doesn't sound like there's a surplus or anything.
I'm just curious about the statistics of actually who uses that facility versus who uses the library.
And that I don't know.
And the money that's budgeted.
We're going to have to close this out soon, not right now. But I think one of the big things we've all heard tonight is that the library services cannot be made up by volunteers, and that it's very important that our elected representatives know that it's a legal statute and it's not something, it's not fluff stuff. We can't just get rid of things and then say, oh, it'll all be fine. So it's really important that they know that. It's really important that they get the idea that this is a vital part of the community and not a peripheral part of it. And And also maybe a deeper understanding of all the kinds of ways that people use the library and have come to depend on it as part of Stillwater. I think personally, there's probably a bit of a feeling that it's nice, okay, as opposed to things like the firefighters and the police, all of which are crucial. But there are so many vital services that occur in the library that it's important that we help make the people who are going to help be making decisions about this know that. So I think that's incumbent upon all of us to attend these meetings, to make ourselves known, and to get ourselves on agendas, and to speak without ranting too much, and let them know that this is something that is crucial to Stillwater. That
You picket signs on the front of me, front of City Hall.
That we just can't fold up our tent.
You've either got to do that or get a public petition sign, bring it to a vote of the people.
People who want to start a petition, do it.
I want to mention something else.
I want to ask one more thing, I'm sorry, but I would just like to see a show of hands of how many people would actually put their billfold out and pay a little more each month to keep this, not just brag about what they're taking away, but how many of us would be willing?
I think we can make that suggestion now too.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that.
And how would the donation be handled? Would they go into the city budget?
I think it should be a
I just want to mention one other thing that hasn't been said tonight, and I think it's very important. I work with the American Library Association, which is a national organization, and Oklahoma is known among the 50 states as a state where all libraries cooperate. Academic libraries, special libraries, public libraries, and Linda and the Stillwater Public Library are responsible for a lot of this cooperation. They initiate a lot of cooperative programs among all the libraries in this state. And so it's not just this library that's falling, it's a network that we destroy one of the stronger links. And it's like interlibrary loan, it's like many of the other services that they provide. And I think this is important to know too. It's a part of the state of Oklahoma, not just Stillwater.
I only wanted to mention concerns. The one that concerns me the very most is the computer services. People today don't always have them. You can't apply for a job without them.
That's right.
Lots of things like that. And our children, I have seen great strides in some children's reading because of our programs for the younger children and for the teens and for the pride in their certificates. What's going to happen to those programs? I don't want to see any of that cut.
Do you know how much the utility bill is on this building every month?
I'm sorry, I don't have any idea.
No idea?
I don't, just because I don't see the bills, so,
All right, how would we find this out? If we all decide we're gonna pick up a few bucks, $5, $10, and I'm poor too, but if I can do it, so can everybody else, all right?
I'm sure the Stillwater Utilities Authority would have the costs of each city building.
Do you think that we could actually swing something like this and they don't get your income?
Do you think we could what?
Swing something like this with the city?
Swing something like what?
Giving money for utilities.
You're right, and then they don't get your income.
That would be a question for the city council to answer. I really don't know.
Well, they're gonna have to have these papers back up, whatever they say.
I don't know enough about our utility services.
I'm the secretary of Stillwater Riders.
This is the citizens. It's your responsibility, it's your home. I love Stillwater. It's because I love the people here in this town. I think it's time that, I know we've all cared about our town, but now is the time that we've got to stop sitting at home, watching the TV at night, and start paying attention to what's happening in our town. Because we are Stillwater. If it wasn't for you people, it wouldn't be Stillwater. So start coming to these town meetings and see what's happening. We've been going. We have a group of people that we go on Monday night. And things that are being pulled to us, we don't want. We've got to start finding